All right, the topic today is the art of happiness. And near our kitchen window stands a small white ceramic plate with a catchy slogan in small black letters that says, "I have decided to be happy." And every time I take a moment to read it, I get blessed. And I think about the friend who gave it to us. And I read it, and every time I read it, I once again decide to be happy. And so I was thinking about this, about happiness, and it could be a very elusive term, and there was a lot of definitions to it, but I'll try to explain it from the Word and from science. But as elusive as it may seem, I ask you, is being happy as easy as deciding to be happy? But in a sense, the answer is yes. I mean, it's not easy to do it, but we can. See, everyone who's ever lived has sought to be happy. I bet even the cave peoples wanted to be happy. And from the ancients to our modern times, we all seek happiness. And our young American men and women still lay down their lives to help us pursue happiness. And people swap stories about happy times. Everybody wants to be happy. But there's an art to being happy. And art takes work. And the first three usages of the Hebrew word for happy in the Bible surround the name of one of Jacob's 12 sons, Asher. And the name Asher means happy. That's Genesis 30:13. So, speaking of the name happy, research shows that 6 of the 7 Disney dwarfs aren't happy. I know it's bad. I heard that Einstein's mom once asked young Albert if he was happy, and Einstein replied, "Relatively." Okay, another bad one. The Queen of Sheba was blown away when she saw all of Solomon's servants and even his bond slaves were themselves happy. That's 1 Kings 10:8. It blew her away that servants could be happy. So happiness must be different than what a lot of people think. People think, I could never be a servant or a bond slave and be happy, but you could. Because happiness comes from a different place. Happiness is decision. Biochemist turned Buddhist monk Matthew Ricard teaches that happiness requires training the mind and developing one's inner qualities. And I believe he's nailed it there. The Dalai Lama agrees with him and believes that happiness is an art, a skill to be practiced, developed, improved, and mastered. In 350 BC, Aristotle said, quote, "Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and the end of human existence." End of quote. Now that's quite a statement from a man who's still considered one of the greatest thinkers of the world. The end goal of humanity is and always has been happiness. Now I know a lot of people poo-poo that idea and they think, oh, happiness, I want joy. Well, let's just stick with happiness here. And because really you're not always looking for joy, but every one of you is looking to be happy. And different things make different people happy. There's as many definitions of happiness as there are of ways to practice the art of being happy. So now the topic, practice happiness. So the art of happiness is most easily understood by children, but has to be retrained or regained in us adults. And there's a force out there that wants nothing more than to wear us down and to make our lives miserable, to remove the expectation of happiness from us. And this force, call it evil, Satan, resistance, the thief, wants nothing more than to steal, kill, and destroy our life, our joy, our happiness. If you have no happiness in your life, do you consider your life good? No. Almost nobody would. So is happiness important? Yes. Fortunately, there's a greater power that wants nothing more than to fill our lives with happiness, John 10:10. Exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think. Would you be happy if you had exceeding abundantly above all that you ask or thought? Well, it's not John 10:10, that's Ephesians 3:20, but to have abundance like it talks about in John 10:10. I mean, everybody wants it. God knows we need it to be happy. So you know what he said he was going to do? I'm going to supply it. I'm going to supply all your needs according to my riches and glory. Even our American Declaration of Independence promises all U.S. citizens the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our nation's founders were well aware that everything we will ever need has already been supplied by God. They believed this, by the Creator. We just need to put in the necessary work to harvest our happiness. We don't just sit there. It's like I use the examples all the time, the birds. They don't just sit there, wait for you to push a worm into their lazy beaks. They're out there looking around all day, hopping around, sucking down worms and bugs and whatever they have to do. Finding water. You see? I mean, they work all day. They put out the necessary energy to get what they need. So do we humans. And the closer I was thinking yesterday, if we can fit what our calling is to our work, my gosh, how much easier would it be? Like a fish. Would it be better flopping around in this room, or would it be better in a pool of water? I guess it depends on if you wanted to eat fish, you see. But, it'd live better in water. That's its environment. What's your environment? Where do you fit the best? I had a woman yesterday tell me that she believed her calling was to arrange flowers for people in need. And she said, I'm good at it. Whether it's a funeral, a wedding, somebody having a baby, somebody who lost a child, she goes, I'm good and I do it right for these people and I make an impression on them. And I said, well, it probably is a calling. It's an ability. And so she called that her ministry. Hey, who am I to say it wouldn't be? The pursuit of happiness is not to be ever chasing the elusive high associated with happiness. The founders of our country in 1776 thought that the pursuit of happiness, the pursuit of happiness as actually practicing happiness. And Arthur Schlesinger said this in his 1964 essay, and about that it's not that it's catching happiness, it's having happiness. It's not just pursuing it, like I'm never going to be able to catch it, like the dog chasing its tail. That's not what it meant. It's our forefathers knew that everything that needs to be supplied is right here in this country, everything. But you got to put out the work to get it. Time magazine had an article in July 8th of 2013. It was by Jeffrey Kluger that said, quote, all human beings may come equipped with the pursuit of happiness impulse, the urge to find lusher land just over the hill, fatter buffalo in the next valley. But it's the Americans who have codified the idea, written it into the Declaration of Independence, and made it a central mandate of the national character. We don't just chase happiness, we deserve it, and we catch it. This is exactly what is proposed in the Bible, as well as in our nation and in every useful moral code, no matter the religion. See, there's so many constitutions out there that have life and liberty. Then they'll put like property. But we're the only ones, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the promise of happiness. It's there, but you have to pursue it. You have to work towards it. But it's not like you'll never catch it, because you can. We're supposed to. That's why so many millions of immigrants have come to this country over the years, because of that American dream. And they say it's gone. It's not gone. My God, we live better than anybody's ever lived before. As we practice a lifestyle of happiness, we're going to master the art of happiness. The next topic is happiness is out to get you. Happiness is out to get you. Happiness wants you so bad it's going to track you down. Hey, the Bible says that. Deuteronomy 28:2 from the King James says, "And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee." All these blessings shall come on thee and overtake you. Overtake with blessings. You're running. You're trying hard not to get blessed. You're running. Boom. They overtake you. Think of a chubby little toddler running away from a new puppy. You know, and it's laughing and running. The puppy runs and jumps up on it, and it falls down. And what does that puppy do but lick its laughing face? That's what God wants to do. He wants to lick your face with blessings. Maybe not, but, you know. I mean, it's like that oversized check handed to a surprise lottery winner. You see him on TV. What? You know, $10 million? Or that unexpected gold medal of a first-time Olympian. You may have seen that. They didn't expect to win. They came out of nowhere and touched the wall and what? They're overtaken with blessing, overtaken with emotion. God wants to do that to you, for you, with you. Psalm 68:19, King James says, "Blessed be the Lord, who daily loadeth us with benefits, even the God of our salvation." Selah. He daily loads you with blessings. You're thinking, where are they? They're there, folks. They have to be. God is every day, every minute, every second, eagerly and happily trying to load us down with the things that are going to benefit us. Do you see it? Do you smell it? Do you feel it? Are we ready to receive it? Or are we afraid to receive it? Are we putting in the necessary work to receive it? Or do we want God just to shove a worm down our lazy beak? Of course, we all want that, but it's not going to happen. Deuteronomy 28:12 from the CEV. "The Lord will open the storehouses of the skies where he keeps the rain, and he will send rain on your land at just the right times. He will make you successful in everything you do. You will have plenty of money to lend to other nations, but you won't need to borrow any yourself." It's basically saying God's going to give you more than you need so that you have enough to give somebody else. We should have everything we need and more. And if we don't, we're not finding those blessings. We're not allowing ourselves to be overtaken with them. We're not putting in the necessary work. You fill in the blank. We all know why. You see, and that's the promise of God. You know, you won't need to borrow any. You know, it's going to be there at the right time, the right place. That's a promise. Wow. Every day, expect to be saturated with all the abundance you can handle. Put in the work, elevate your expectations, and enjoy. I mean, this goes with everything. He promised health and prosperity, right? 3 John 2. He promised health and prosperity. Why don't we let him keep his promise? Happiness is out to get you, folks. Happiness is out to get you. So don't try to outrun it. You can run, but you can't hide. You knew that was coming. Make your own luck. In the Bible, the word happy and the word blessed are often interchangeable Hebrew words. Look it up. Happy and blessed. They're the same. They're exactly the same Hebrew word. Asher, like that name. Happy. one of the sons of Jacob. And to add a twist to that, in the 14th century, the word happy and the word lucky meant one and the same thing. When the King James Version was published in 1611, the common dictionary use of the word happy and the word lucky were synonymous. They meant exactly the same thing. I know a lot of you are taught, oh, luck, it's bad. I'm not talking about gambling, luck, and all that. There's more to it. The art of happiness is putting in enough work, enough time to make our own luck. Remember, it's the art of happiness is a decision. It starts with a decision. I want to be happy. I have decided to be happy. I've decided to be happy. You decide to be blessed. I'm just going to decide to be lucky. Put them all together. They all mean the same thing, really. At least at the time the King James Bible was written, happy, blessed, lucky. Meant the same thing. I know what you're thinking. Hold on, Mark. You're going to make my head explode with that kind of talk, man. The Bible don't talk about no luck. Well, it sure did in 1611. It may not use that word. Professor Richard Wiseman did a 10-year scientific study in the knowledge of luck, saying that people made their own good and bad fortune. He said, quote, lucky people generate their own good fortune via 4 basic principles. 1, they're skilled at creating and noticing chance opportunities. That's 1. They make lucky decisions by 2, listening to their intuition. 3, creating self-fulfilling prophecies via positive expectations. And 4, adopting a resilient attitude that transforms bad luck into good. End of quote. His staff followed up on their test subjects for 10 years. Because they asked a group of young people, are you a lucky person or are you an unlucky person? And then they wrote down what they were, and they followed these people. And they found out that all the lucky people did those 4 things. And all the unlucky people didn't do those 4 things. And I'll repeat them in a few minutes. But these 4 lucky traits can be practiced and they can be learned. And I'm going to put them into my own words here. 1, notice. Be great at noticing opportunities. 2, listen. Become great at listening to your inner voice, that still small voice. 3, expect. Build an eternally optimistic expectation. And if you do that, it'll find you. Expect it. You just might get it. And number 4, adapt. Learn from your mistakes and adapt. There's much greater learning from making mistakes than there are for doing things right, folks. It's just the way it is. We want to do things right, but there's many steps many times to get there. Look at how tools have changed over the last 50 years. Because of what they were. It's a whole different world now with tools. You might have looked in your grandfather's garage and it had these weird, wrenches that were thick and fat, and now it's just different now. Computers from the 60s to now, you couldn't carry around a computer from the 60s. Like a laptop the size of a house. You'd be a lot stronger than I am. So notice, listen, expect, adapt. Notice, listen, expect, and adapt. Notice, listen, expect, and adapt. Every lucky person does this. Every blessed person does that. Every happy person does those things. There's a few verses that might make you Bible people happy. And so notice. So 1 Peter 5, 7 through 9 from the AMP. And it says, casting all your cares all your anxieties, all your worries, all your concerns once and for all on him, for he cares about you with deepest affection and watches over you very carefully. Be sober, well-balanced, and self-disciplined. Be alert and cautious at all times. That enemy of yours, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, fiercely hungry, seeking someone to devour. But resist him. Be firm in your faith against his attack, rooted, established, immovable, knowing that the same experiences of suffering are being experienced by your brothers and sisters throughout the world. You do not suffer alone. Notice. And most of those things we just read, those 4 principles are in that. Here's a quote. What helps luck is a habit of watching for opportunities, of having a patient but restless mind, of sacrificing one's ease or vanity, of uniting a love of detail to foresight, and of passing through the hard times bravely and cheerfully. As Victor Chubelet, or Chubelet. Now listen. 1 Kings 19, 11 and 12 from the Message states, quote, Then he was told, Go stand on the mountain at attention before God. God will pass by. A hurricane wind ripped through the mountain and shattered the rocks before God. But God wasn't to be found in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But God wasn't in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, fire. But God wasn't in the fire. And after the fire, a gentle and quiet whisper. Listen. Listen. Listen to that still small voice. Epictetus said, We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Listen with the intent to understand, not the intent to reply. That's Stephen Covey. If you're going to listen to somebody, listen to them. Otherwise, don't waste your time. If you're going to read a book that's supposed to help you, why don't you do what it says? If you go to the doctor, why don't you do what the doctor says? Whatever she tells you. You see? Or don't go. Now expect. Philippians 4:13 from the AMP, and this says it real nicely, quote, I am self-sufficient in Christ's sufficiency. I am ready for anything and equal to anything through him who infuses me with inner strength and confident peace. Expect. Expect. And you're going to get. Here's a quote, expect problems and eat them for breakfast. Alfred A. Montepur. Expect problems and eat them for breakfast. You're going to have problems, folks. Quote, you were born to win, but to be a winner, you must plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. Zig Ziglar. Expect to win. Now adapt. 1 Corinthians 10:13 from The Voice, and it says, quote, any temptation you face will be nothing new, but God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond what you can handle. But he always provides a way of escape so that you will be able to endure and keep moving forward. Adapt. So are you going to be tempted? Yeah. You're going to be tempted to fear, to be lazy, to whatever? Yes. We always are. But we adapt, we change, we grow. Intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. Stephen Hawking. That's a man who had to adapt to change. Went from a vibrant young man to a man bound to a wheelchair, not even able to talk. But he just kept thinking and writing and just did all, he's still doing stuff, I guess. You see, intelligence is the ability to adapt to change. There are species that have gone extinct because they will not change their diet. As the world changes or as environments change, they won't. They won't eat a different snail. They won't eat a different worm, and so they'll just die. They don't allow themselves to get blessed. We have to be an omnivore spiritually, so to speak. You just want to eat it up. Whatever God gives you, yum, yum, yum. You know, I've decided to be happy. I've decided to be blessed. I've decided to be lucky. Like I told you before, when I was a kid on the Air Force bases, I had red hair, strawberry blonde, and the GIs, for some reason, always would grab me and put me in a headlock and rub me, and they said, "Come here, boy, give me some luck." You know, these old World War II guys, you know, they thought that red hair was lucky, you know. And so it's sort of funny. See, these are the 4 things that constitute the heart of lucky, blessed, and happy people. To notice, listen, expect, and adapt. And that's how we make our own luck. And those are a few ways how we make ourselves happy. And see, every person on earth may have a different way to make themselves happy. We're all unique. What makes one happy doesn't make somebody else happy. What I do for enjoyment, you think I'm a nut for doing. You see, I asked a few people what they did to make themselves happy and came up with this short list. Like getting quiet, giving, a lot of people like, makes them happy. Going shopping seems to be high on the list. Some people go for a long run, or they hit the gym, or they go on a long bike ride, or they get on their motorcycle, or they go out into the woods. Some get their hands dirty in the garden. That's what makes them happy. That's what refreshes them. Other people go fishing. You know, some people call a trusted friend or a family member, or they go spend time with them. How refreshing can that be? Some people, they don't want to be with their families. Other people, they can't wait to be with their families. How about a snap of chocolate? As Josephine's brother says, a snap of chocolate. You know, playing or listening to music. If you're a musician, what makes you more happy than playing that music? Probably nothing. You see? Being with the person you love. Oh, my word. Or one of them. If you're not with the one you love. No, I don't want to go back to the 70s there. Yeah. So, going for a walk. Sometimes that's all you need. You just got to get out and do something. Cooking. Some people just love to cook. It blesses them. Smiling. Just try it. Go to the mall and just smile. And you're going to have a whole bunch of people smiling. You know, and spending time with friends. Spending time alone. Sometimes that really makes me happy. How about clearing your desk? Doesn't that make you feel good when you get to that stack of papers you've left there? Encouraging others can make you happy, blessed. Feel lucky. You know, service to other people. That's huge. I'm not even going to get so much into that in this teaching, but that's a huge way to be happy, is to help other people be happy. You know, working to fulfill your own calling. Working to live your own dream. Does that make people happy? Does that make them feel blessed? Does that make them lucky? Yeah. So now gratitude and thankfulness. Gratitude and thankfulness are a couple of the greatest ways to keep ourselves happy. And these words are not synonymous. Gratitude and thankfulness don't mean the same things. I know what you're saying. What's the difference, Mark? Well, I'll try to explain it. Gratitude is a noun. It has substance. Gratefulness can be felt, just as it can be given. Thankfulness is an adjective, and it's how we express our gratefulness or our gratitude. There's a difference. One is a tangible quantity. You feel grateful, but you are thankful. Because you feel grateful. So you're thankful. See, gratitude is about feeling, whereas thankfulness is an expression of that feeling. And this is not earth-shattering. It isn't that big a deal, but I thought it was interesting. Thankfulness requires a giver and a receiver, whereas gratitude is just a state of being. You are just grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be an American. I'm grateful to be a child of God. I'm grateful to be in your presence. I'm grateful to be able to teach. I'm grateful to live in the neighborhood I live in. I'm grateful to have the best friends I've ever had. I'm grateful to know you. I'm grateful. I feel it. I feel the love. See, it's a mindset. It's similar to what we've been talking about, happiness. It's a decision. You decide to be grateful. Gratefulness can make us happy. It can make us blessed. I've read at least 4 books in the last 2-3 weeks, and that all tell me I should make a gratitude list. And I thought, what am I missing here that these masters keep saying this? Because I don't have a gratitude list. I have a prayer list of things I want. I pray for things every day. I pray for things for you all every day. I pray for you every day. But that's not a gratitude list. A grateful list. So I began to study gratitude over the last few weeks, and I saw the benefit of how it can keep us happy. It's so important to be grateful. Dr. Rand Kamen did some research on gratitude, and here are some of his findings. Quote, gratitude is most strongly associated with mental health. Gratitude is our emotion that relates to our ability to feel and express thankfulness and appreciation. Traditionally, the study of this emotion has been relegated to the fields of theology and philosophy. In 2007, Robert Emmons began researching gratitude through a psychological lens, and he found that expressing gratitude improves mental, physical, and relational well-being. Being grateful also impacts the overall experience of happiness, and these effects tend to be long-lasting. And here's some of the benefits of gratitude from that same article. Improve physical, emotional, and social well-being. Greater optimism and happiness. Improve feelings of connection in times of loss or crisis. Increase self-esteem. Heightened energy levels, strengthen heart, immune system, and decrease blood pressure. Improve emotional and academic intelligence. Expanded capacity for forgiveness. Decreases stress, anxiety, depression, and headaches. Improve self-care and greater likelihood to exercise. Heightened spirituality, ability to see something bigger than ourselves. Quote, this is cultivating gratitude from that same article. The most common method for cultivating gratitude is by keeping a gratitude journal and recording experiences for which one is grateful. The idea is to write out at least three positive experiences on a daily basis. Examples include taking notice of something in nature, an object of beauty, you see, a pleasant conversation with a friend, a good cup of coffee, or helping someone with a problem. Recording these positive experiences boosts levels of alertness, enthusiasm, determination, attentiveness, and energy, especially when compared to those who record or focus on the negative events of the day. Our days rarely go according to plan or without unexpected challenges. Some of us can naturally appreciate the sweet moments as they happen throughout the day, while many of us need to cultivate this sense of appreciation. Research shows that recording experiences for which one is grateful for only two consecutive weeks has lasting positive effects sustained for up to 6 months. It therefore behooves us to keep a gratitude journal. End of quote. One more thing to do. But I like what they said. It could be a simple thing. I saw the most beautiful tree. Or I saw a turkey vulture fly down and almost touch the roof of my car, which I did see the other day. It's a huge bird, but it was fun to see. I was up on top of Pikes Peak on a training run the other day, and I was the first one up there. And there was a huge herd of mountain goats. And I'm blessed I saw them because it was far colder up there than I had prepared for. It was 40 degrees, and down below it was like 80, so, but it was great. It was so cool to see that and seeing the little marmots, dive into the rocks as I would jog by, and the little ground squirrels. I love it. I love seeing a pine cone hanging off a bristlecone pine. Thinking that those trees up there, some of them are over 2,000 years old. It blesses me. But it may not bless you. You don't want to be at the top of Pikes Peak on a cold day. It's craziness. Who cares? Just be thankful you're not me. You see? Gratitude is love felt. Gratitude is love experienced. And if you write those lists and you do it faithfully for a couple of weeks, this doctor said it could last you for months. Just writing down the little things that happen. Because there's going to be enough junk that happens during the day. My car broke. My machine broke. Don't write that stuff down. What good happened? I was still able to finish the job. I figured it out. I did a workaround. My house wasn't selling, but it sold. I got a contract. Because it only takes one, right? A person can be grateful in the midst of hell, but you can't necessarily be thankful. You could be going through the midst of hell and you go, I am so proud to be a child of God. I'm so looking forward to the hope someday. Whatever. It doesn't matter what's going on. It can be crazy good for you. If you have gratitude. A person can be grateful no matter what's going on. A person can have gratitude for life even if life hasn't turned out the way they expected. A gratitude list looked at and added to every day will help keep us happy. And that's the whole point of this teaching. It's the art of happiness. It takes work to be happy. If you're not happy and you keep living the same way you've been living, are you going to be happy? No. Does God want you to be happy? Yes. Does God supply everything you need to be happy? Yes. My kids who are adults, full adults, my wife makes a birthday box for them and sends it to them every year with birthday hats and plates and, all that. It's silly. I don't even know if they use them, but it's put masks sometimes. Superman, just dumb stuff, but it's just something. It's something to bless them, you see. And then they can remember their childhood. It's silly, but she does it, And it gives them a card, one card for every day. It's a 7-day birthday thing. Some of them have things in it, some of them don't. There's a gift for every day. It's just cheap stuff, but it's fun, But she does it because she loves to give. I do it because she tells me to. Now I love to give too. There's people in this room that give far more things than I give. They just love to give. But they get blessed by giving. You see, having a deep gratitude helps us master the art of happiness. Decide to be grateful. Do a gratefulness list. Look it up if you don't know how to do it. Just start from the biggest. Work it. Make it a work of art. Everyone who's ever lived has sought to be happy. From the ancients to the people of today. Everyone of every culture, of every day and time, has all sought to be happy. Become one of those lucky people you admire by taking the time to notice, to listen, to expect, and to adapt. Why don't we grab on to the goodness that's even laid out in our Declaration of Independence? Life, liberty, and the pursuit. The grabbing on to happiness. It's promised by God. It's in our Declaration of Independence. You know, it's available, folks. Everything you'll ever need to live a happy, blessed, lucky life is available to you. So start that gratitude list. Work it daily. Build it into a work of art that you can hand down to your children. They're going to go, whoa, man, Dad was happy. Mom was crazy happy. No wonder she was always smiling and giving and doing stuff. See, near our window, in our kitchen, stands this small white ceramic plate with this catchy slogan in small black letters that says, I have decided to be happy. So let's master the art of being happy. God bless.